everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let Me Talk to My Customer. I am your host, Chad Counts, and my co-host here, Richard Tyler. Rich, how you doing today?
Doing great.
We are excited to have everyone with us as we continue our series on everything is selling, all the aspects of character and our life and balance and all those things and all the overlaps that come between sales and our typical relationship and our typical standing with other people. So we're happy to dig in with that or on that with you today. Just want to let you know we continue to have sales training, sales management, and our new sales training series available to you all. We have a new salesperson training, if you happen to catch this weekend, going to be starting September 22nd at 9:30 a.m. on Eastern time on Tuesday, and that's going to be running for 4 weeks for any of you with new salespeople. That's going to be $100 a week, $400 total for the series. And so we hope that if you have any new persons, you'll reach out and join us there. If you need another time, please reach out, see our counts at countsbusinessconsulting.com. And Rich and I can see if we can slot another time together as well. Our future training topic for experienced salespeople is going to be on adding value. We have not scheduled a specific date, but if you know your team or your company needs to work on adding value from prospecting, networking, brokering, warranty, new aftermarket, any of those items that are not traditional in-stock success, please reach out to us and let us know what your preferences would be on time, and we'd be happy to work through and schedule something with you guys. We just wrapped our first run of series on both new salespersons and our closing series. It was great. It was excellent. We got some really good reviews from those who participated. So hopefully you can join us next time too, if you didn't participate so far. All right, Rich, our topic this week is going to be on trust. Okay, we have this concept or this idea that our economy has changed in a lot of ways. How we connect with people, how we interact with people, the way we start relationships and begin relationships, everything from dating to work to networking, it's all different, right? I mean, it's all, the way we connect with people has changed dramatically. So I think fortunately you and I both escaped the Tinder era and needing to connect through applications, right?
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah, no, but I like this podcast is a perfect example of different ways that we're connecting with people.
Yeah, many new customers all over the globe that we are connecting with, and it's really been wonderful for us to get to know people in a different medium. So the connected economy is our topic for today, and trust goes hand in hand with that. Because of how our network has changed, because of the way we engage with people that are not local to us and that are not right in our vicinity, we have less foundation of trust and being known by our customers, by our friends, our colleagues, than we used to. And so how we're perceived and how well we deliver on our promise and how well we present as trustworthy and reputable has a tremendous impact on just how valuable our relationship is with those we are connected with. So in this connected economy, trust is our biggest capital. It's the biggest thing that we can build on. It's the biggest thing that we can scale with. You may remember on our previous weeks, we talked a lot about persuasion versus manipulation. And this is one of the drawbacks of being an effective salesperson who's a manipulator, right? You can have some of those short-term gains. You can have some of those successful days or weeks or interactions where you get that immediate reward, you get that immediate gratification of getting the sale. But because you didn't take into account the other person's needs and you weren't really driven by serving them, you were more driven by serving yourself, your ability to repeat that success and maintain that trust is very limited. And because of that, your ability to develop repeat customers and scale your business and grow your business will really struggle. And while you might find good days, you might find good weeks, overall, month to month, and building on those relationships, which Rich and I have seen the most successful salespeople in our industry, they don't have to worry about coming in every month what their numbers are going to be. They know they've built an established set of relationships, a pipeline that they're going to start off with 80,000 this month or 100,000, wherever that baseline is. They've built that network of trust to be able to deliver on that. Rich, do you have a sense when you're working with salespeople, when we're training salespeople, how well they are aware of their repeat customers, or if they have a sense of trust and that they've delivered a good or built a good network versus those who kind of think they have good customers or think they have repeat customers, but they're really more up for grab than they realize?
Yeah, for sure. My experience is that the guys that have experience is probably going to be a lot more likely to think that, oh, this is my group of customers, when really those customers could be anybody's customers.
Yeah, exactly. There's more of a, yeah, this is a guy that calls me, but he's not my customer, right? I mean, it's a much looser tie and connection than our more experienced people.
Sure.
So tying this back into the everything is selling, trust is the biggest capital we have, and it's not a static value. Any of you who have had ongoing relationships, whether that be with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends, you realize trust goes up and down, right? How connected we are, how much trust we have in the bank, so to speak, can change. It's not a static thing that never moves. Especially easier to see on a marriage relationship, where we all know there's times where we're in really good standing and we trust each other completely, and other times where somebody stepped in it and we need to do some work there, right, to re-earn that capital. How much does that affect how easy it is to ask for something, or how easy it is to make a request of somebody when that trust is low, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it very difficult when the trust is low. Obviously, if the trust is there, I mean, I'm thinking exactly about in the situation that you're talking about in particular, but it makes it a lot easier to ask when the trust is there, right?
Yeah. When there's a problem and it comes up, you're like, oh, hey, can you help me out? Versus, a problem comes up when you're not as connected, when trust isn't as high. It's more stressful, or you're trying to figure out yourself, or, man, I don't want to let so-and-so know that there's another problem because they're already frustrated with me. And that's true of our business relationships too, right? So if we have a really strong ongoing relationship in a business environment and a sales relationship, as if a problem comes up and we haven't had one in quite a while, like everything's been smooth sailing for a while, I'm not as nervous. I call you up and say, hey, I'm sorry. We had some, when we went to pull this, there was a crack in the block, or there was a problem. And so, hey, we're going to get this taken care of. We're going to do this. But there's much less stress. I mean, I'm still not happy about it as a salesperson, but I believe I've built up enough trust in the bank to be able to resolve that without feeling as much a threat. How do you think that would change for a salesperson, Rich, if they've had, they know they've had multiple issues with parts over the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Right. So I think what we see all the time is like salespeople who will bury their head in the sand. They would rather pretend that problem doesn't exist than addressing it. Is what it's kind of how
it's almost like we give up. If there's been issues and there's another one, so we're just like, well, we're done here, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. I think the other reason why these relationships get fluid like that is the mid-tier salespeople. Maybe they're coming up, maybe they're starting to develop, starting to get those repeat customers. They don't have the same sense of urgency to tackle or resolve upcoming problem as our experience in our elite salespeople do. When our elite salespeople have a problem with an order or have a problem going on with one of their best customers, alarm bells are sounding, right? They talk to their manager, they talk to their owners like, hey, this is this customer, this is what they do, they're really good. I need to get them taken care of. What can we do? And so they put themselves in a position to maybe offer something a little more distinctive or unique to that customer. And other salespeople may have a customer that's in that position, but because they're not as engaged or aware of the cost or the value of that customer, or they feel stuck, they don't feel like they can go to their owner or manager to ask for some help on labor, or to ask for some help on freight or the core, or some way to try and offer this customer something because of a problem that we've impacted. You want to be as far on the forefront of tackling this and solving this and providing a solution for your customer as you can. And I think a lot of salespeople lose sight of the fact that if they see if there's a problem that happens in the transaction, that's already a loss. And the best salespeople I know, they're the best salespeople because they shine in those moments. They're heroes in those moments. They may not see that as a chance to prove themselves, but they darn sure aren't going to let all their hard work go down the drain just because one little thing happened. It's a time to step up. It's a time to make good for their customer. That's their time to shine. And Rich, from a customer's standpoint, what level of significance or how much better do you feel about a relationship when you see a salesperson or somebody at that company, go above and beyond and treat this problem for your customer like it's their very own, and treat it with significance and importance?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, that's one of those things that has the potential to not only take advantage of the trust that it is that you have with that customer, but to build additional trust. It's something that probably adds to the relationship. It's not necessarily even a problem.
Yeah. And on the wholesale side, how often do our customers call in and they seem stressed, or they seem like work's really difficult, or something's going on right now?
All the time.
All the time, right? And so if I can establish myself as a person in this industry who my customers call on, and they don't have to worry about when things go wrong, because things have already gone wrong and we've worked on it together. They knew as soon as I knew. They had direct line of sight. They were able to be in the loop in solving this because the salesperson understood it's not just my business, it's my customer's business too. And so we're in a partnership here. We're in alliance on getting this solved, not just for them, but for their end customer. I think there have been some huge advancements. Easy Suite, Easy QC is a great software program that gives a lot of that visibility and line of sight from our part side to our customer. But I think there's also a lot of salespeople that have built that bridge too, that know, hey, preventative communication, letting our customer know as far in advance that this could happen or this could happen. They're proactive, right? They don't let anything fester. They deal with it on the surface, and they are solution oriented, as opposed to, oh, I've got a problem, nothing I can do, and they just feel sunk and they just feel lost in it. Okay. So maintaining trust and coming through in those worst moments really bring you forward. And I would say that's true of our best relationships in life also. We wish those closest to us, we haven't had hard moments or difficult moments, but usually that's what makes those relationships so special. It's not that it's just been all good, it's that we've been through bad and good. We've been through all myriad of situations and solutions. And if anything, that solidifies the relationships. That's what family is about. That's what our loved ones are about. And so maybe you're not going to say you love your customers, but if you're in a position where you can really cement that relationship by going through a difficult situation, being forthright, being trustworthy, doing the honorable thing, not being self-serving in a negative situation, but looking out for the needs of the other person, I think that goes a tremendous way to cement that relationship. Why else would they?
Yeah, let me just interrupt for a second to highlight the importance of, for those salespeople who are listening who don't necessarily have those customers that rely on them, for those salespeople who don't necessarily have a high level of this trust capital that we're speaking about. What you're saying is, these times when problems pop up, that's the time to shine. That's the time when we can really start building up that capital and proving to our customers that they want to rely on us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think there's this illusion that to be the best salesperson or something like that, that you have to be perfect, or you can't have any problems, and you have to solve them all in advance. And I think that's foolish. The best salespeople don't anticipate problems; they anticipate sales. They want the sales, they want the opportunity, because they trust themselves to handle the problems when they arise. I know a lot of people, they try and be perfect up front, and all they do is they just stall sales or they slow sales down.
Oh yeah.
And the other side of that too, it's difficult if you're on the newer side. But we've talked about this in other podcasts as well. If you don't feel like you know what your options are to help customers, to solve customers, to deal with problems, those are great conversations to have with your owner or sales manager, whoever is in that position of authority above you. You should be, if you want to develop repeat business and relationships, you need to know what your options are to help the customer. And you need to know, when is there that special exception of, this is a very valuable customer and something's gone wrong. It's not necessarily our fault or something like that, but you can tell that there's some heartburn on the customer side, that this is jeopardizing the relationship. This is putting our trust at risk. This is putting our ability to transact in the future at risk. Bring that up. I mean, your owner and sales manager, they don't want to lose accounts. There's very precious few accounts out there, and we can't afford to just be turning businesses away time and time again. So,
and I think what we typically see are salespeople who just like let that simmer within themselves and just kind of have it burn them, and not actually have any kind of solution around it.
And your owner or manager, I mean, nobody loves dealing with problems, but I'd much rather deal with the problem when I'm in a position to solve it and keep the customer happy, than after the cut. I've got 2 voicemails now from this customer chewing me out, and then I'm furious. I'm furious for that customer. I'm furious at you, the salesperson, because you didn't bring this to my attention. You didn't solve it. And that can be a hard thing to do, but if you want to be a professional, this is not a job, but this is a career. You have to be diligent about doing the difficult things. You can't just sit there and think that you can build solely off of doing simple successes. Okay. Your ability to deal with difficulty and frustrating circumstances is what's going to limit your ceiling or raise your ceiling and allow you to really succeed and hit new levels. Okay, so I think we've covered that in pretty good detail. Here's some measures for you. If you're a salesperson listening to this and trying to think, how well have I built trust? How well have I built relationships? Here's a couple of ways you can think about it. And this isn't to say that if you can't think of some of these off the top of your head, that they don't exist or you don't have these, but at least this is an area you can focus on. So one measure of trust that we can put forward here is, how many times do you remember that your customers have referred others to you? Okay, and there's a number of circumstances where this would happen. We see this quite often in brokering relationships and brokering networks, where you're establishing a relationship with a company that you hadn't necessarily bought from before, and you ask somebody else on your counter, who have you bought from at such and such auto wrecking, right? And say, oh, I know Jim over there, I know Johnny, or I know Marianne, or whoever, right? So that's a built-in referral. You start getting sales from multiple people on a counter at another recycler. I think that typically comes from recommendation there. How often do you get a retail referral? Or maybe there's multiple service writers at a facility, at a repair shop, and all of a sudden you start getting more calls than just your go-to person. You get calls from other people at their shop. Maybe they have multiple locations, and this is somebody that's moving up or higher up in the organization. Is that person referring or giving you new opportunities within their business? What about your online reviews? What about your referrals through there for retail transactions? How often do you deliver or get a positive review? In some cases, you may have to solicit this. You may have to ask for this information. But you know what? If that becomes something that you're aware of and you're conscious of and you're thinking about, I do not mind if you ask for that. I would rather you be aware and attentive to that than just assume that you have trust or you've built good relationships. So I mean, Rich, is that something that you hear often, that they get referrals or that they ask for referrals, or what have you seen in terms of that measurement?
Yeah, not asking for referrals so much as getting referrals. I always hear salespeople field calls where it's like, oh, so-and-so told me to give you a call,
Yeah.
that kind of referral. And I think typically when that happens, salespeople don't necessarily leverage it to their advantage. It's just something that they kind of accept as, oh, somebody sent somebody my way, as opposed to really being able to utilize the trust capital that it is that they have already established.
Sure, and to thank whoever gave them the referral, right? I mean, to show, again, that's a great opportunity to show the other person what they mean to you, right? That they have been a valuable part of your business and helping you grow. And so you're grateful for that and you recognize that. I always look at it the other way too. How often do you refer customers to your repeat businesses, right? I mean, there's a lot of times with retail where they don't have a shop in mind. You guys know the area just about better than anybody else. What a better way to honor your customer than to send them business. Yep. So I think there's multiple ways to do that, and there's multiple avenues to work on it and build that. Lastly, we'll close with this. Another measure of trust that I look at, especially on the wholesale business, is how well do you understand how their business works? How do they make their money? How do I increase their profits? And is there a sense that this is a mutual relationship, that we're working? It's not adversarial. I'm not trying to sell to them, but I'm selling with them. I'm solving problems with them. I'm helping them take care of their customer. If they sell this job, they make more money, we make more money, the customer's car is back on the road. We should be looking to put ourselves in positions where these relationships are almost partnerships in a lot of ways. And I think that's always something that amazes me when I look at our top selling salespeople, is they've done the work before the phone call. And when they get a phone call, it's not that it's all that impressive in terms of their technique or performance, but you can hear in the relationship. The customer asks them for a part and the price is there and it's agreed upon. There's not a whole lot of back and forth on the price or this, that, or the other. There's an understanding. They know how their customer company works. They know how they make their money and what their priorities are. They know when they need it. They know if they need warranty. It's almost like they're part of the team, right? And so I don't know how many customers you have that fit that way with you. And so that's something as a salesperson I'd be thinking about. Okay, even my top repeat customers right now, how well do I know their business? Is there a sense that I'm an ally with them, that I'm assisting in building their business and vice versa? But yeah, I mean, I see that on the recycling side as well. I have a lot of customers that, we talk often, not just to do business, but because I want to feel a valued part of their team and they want me to be a valued part of their team. And so I think there's a number of measures in terms of built-in trust, how often that happens and how well you take care of your customers in that sense. Okay, so trust matters. Trust has a lot of capital in your personal relationships and your business relationships. You can build a network far and wide. You can build a global network. You can build a really strong local, regional network. There's really no limits to where you can go. But if you do that without an understanding of building trust and importance and delivering for other people, you're going to limit yourself. And so I would put it this way. What would be the number one thing that would stop you from referring somebody Rich, to a customer of yours or to somebody in your network? What would be the main thing that would stop you from giving a referral?
I guess if they didn't have my trust.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you had concerns that they couldn't deliver or they would make you look bad, right? I mean, really, it's really easy. It's great to be able to give referrals. Most of the time you want to be able to give referrals. And so you need to think about that. I mean, as long as you're putting yourself in a position where, hey, you know, did I deliver well enough, or did so-and-so deliver well enough that I think if I refer somebody to them, I have a high confidence that they're going to be well taken care of, especially in the world of used auto parts, where reputations and parts can be amazing to awful. You know, these referrals, our reputation, our level of service, how well we take care of people, those are incredibly important measures for our repeat success and our growth. So take that with you. I know we talked a lot on this episode, but I think that's a hard and fast rule, and not just for your business, but hopefully you have that same sort of diligence in your personal life too. Don't shy away from when we make mistakes. I know that's very easy to do, but the way we build trust is to repair, to take ownership of what we can do and our part of the problem. Nobody's perfect, and nobody wants to live in a world where they have to be perfect. But if we respond well, we respond honestly and earnestly when there are problems, whether caused by us or others, we're there for people when things are difficult. That's when we get a chance to shine. And that's when we get to build those relationships and form those relationships. So I hope you take that both professionally and personally as something that you can see as beneficial to you, and you understand the importance in those relationships. So thank you for joining us again this week. Again, if we can be a part of your team and your company and helping you grow and helping you succeed, especially on the sales counter, whether it be sales training, sales management, training your sales manager, or our sales training series, we're continuing to try and find new ways to deliver for you guys in different forms and different budgets, and provide value for you guys all the same. So hopefully you'll reach out to us, countsbusinessconsulting.com, or Facebook Counts Business Consulting. My email, crcounts@countsbusinessconsulting.com. And even if you're just or not just, but even if you're a very important listener for us, any feedback, whether you like the show or not, or you have a recommendation for new topics or other areas, we always love to hear from you guys. So we're very appreciative of you joining us and taking the time to be with us. We hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Take care, everyone.